Tez.
Welcome to the TezDown. Welcome.
Find me, Tez.
Mic check 1 2. Welcome. Welcome to the TezDown. Party time. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, research, education, and parody. Under this act, fair use is permitted use of copyrighted content that might otherwise infringe on the exclusive rights of copyright holders. The TezDown podcast is a platform for entertainment and education. Edutainment, a blend of education and entertainment, emphasizes content that informs while it entertains. The views expressed in this channel's commentary do not necessarily reflect or represent the views of the hosts, and may not always reflect the complete or verified accuracy of information presented. All content, including commentary, analysis, and discussion, falls within the legal parameters of fair use. We make no claims to ownership of any third-party content. This is the TezDown. Sports unscripted, culture unfiltered. Thank you for understanding.
What up, nephew?
And Genius is my dad.
Hey, Leigh. Classic. Bass. Hard times ain't nothing at all. Really come from a struggle. Real. Move around Michael Buffer. Always ready to rumble. All that mean is off the muscle. Y'all can't match my hustle. Screen bucket, that's a cuzzo. Bigger key to no muzzle. Lately I'm feeling exhausted. Think I'm tired of being humble. Coach all on the duffel. Chip on my shoulder, you don't want to ruffle. Where I come from, everybody is cutthroat. Could've been dead, I'm just doing what I'm up for. My old homie jumped off the roof. I tried to shepherd, he was nuts so. Life, win or you lose, you gotta pick it or choose. Inspired, chose to win. 9-1 furs on the cruise. The shortest path always straight. Why you all in your own way? You scream YOLO to be goofy instead of using that to be great. You black, you should be proud. When I die, spend my money with the apes. It's gonna be a ton, I'm running up the rate. My name on your tongue, I'm coming up the ranks. Consistency so persistently is the recipe. I cannot lose. My options in life is win, succeed, or win. How can I choose? I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. So damn it, I think I'ma do. Survived a lot, I could've died a lot, but I'm here, got nothing to prove. Woke up, inspired. Woke up, inspired. Woke up, inspired. Woke up, woke up. Woke up feeling inspired. Treadwheel, low pro tire. Grind like my needs are dire. I grind like my straights are dire. Woke up.
Good morning and welcome to the TezDown. It is Women's History Month and I have some guests today. And I'm not going to spend too much time telling you exactly what we're going to talk about or what we're going to do because you should know when it's Women's History Month. Let's introduce our first guest of the evening. Let's go ahead and play some intro music. Y'all think they need some intro music too? I think so too. Let's play some intro music really quick. Let's go. I would like now to welcome the esteemed Dr. Tamirah Leigh Perry. Yeah, platinum recording artist Dr. Tamirah Leigh Terry here today. How are you doing, Doctor?
Awesomely blessed. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's nice to see you on this.
It's good to see you too.
On my
Thanks
show.
for having me.
Actually, I think we should say thanks for having me. If you guys didn't know, the good doctor is my mother. Welcome, good doctor. It is nice to see you. You have done so much in the industries today. This is the doctor. She is the founder and the CEO of Tamirah Leigh Lifestyle Design. She is the platinum recording. Please let us see that platinum plaque behind you. Yeah, I gotta, every time that I see it, I get more proud. I get more proud. How you doing? How you doing? Conversation with Soft Rain said, "Hi, Mom."
Hello. Hey, everybody.
The ones in the chat, put the ones in the chat. We are the ones. We are the ones. Y'all can put 3332.
The
You
one.
don't have to do that, but we're the ones. Yes, what's up? Mom knows what's up. Astronaut says, hey, what's up, Astronaut? How you doing? Roxy says, yes, thank you. Hey, mama.
Hey.
So, I'm going to call this part of the show Double Trouble. And the reason why it's double trouble is because I'm getting tag team today, and not in the wrestling way, but on the podcast style by another guest that we have here today. And you know what? They get interest music too. Oh, yeah, we're going to let this one play.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome another one of my favorite players to the show. They go by the name of Sugar Joiko. This is thing. Oh, me, what's up, Joy? Great to see you. Okay. Please come to your city. Listen to Joy right now. See everybody. That's what I like to see. All right, that's all y'all get for free. Welcome to the show, Joy.
Hi.
So, if you guys didn't know, I like to say that Joy writes these songs about me, even though it's not true. The music just resonates.
Joy has to know that I'm a house head for life too. I might be in Atlanta right now, but that's the music that we listen to every Friday night. Every Friday night.
It is Chi-Town for life, you know?
Yes.
All the way from Chi-Town, straight down to Houston, by way of Japan. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So obviously, my mom will tell you, and we're not going to focus on, me and my mother's relationship too much.
No, do it. I love it.
Obviously, my mom will tell you that I'm a big Japan head, a Japanophile, as some people might call us. You know, blurred, weeb, whatever they want to call us today, kawaii AF. You know how it works. You know what I mean? We love our anime, and we love the things that we do in there. Yeah. And when I was growing up, it was like I was gonna get my anime. It was either gonna be.
I tell you what, I like you, and I want you. Now we can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. The choice is yours.
I'm watching it. I'm getting all my anime in every time, every chance that I get. So.
I don't think I told you, Cortez. Last year, I went to Taste of Japan down here. I took your nephew, who is also, he draws anime all the time. And he's actually, when
you went to Dragon Con. I called him while you guys were there. With the Dragon Con.
Dragon Con, right. So when he's finished, he graduates in May. And then he's going to go work for the Japanese drawing the anime. They told him that they have a work from home animation job for him. So he's actually going to be doing that.
So speaking of Dragon Con, I know someone who has a show coming up at a Dragon Con event, and that's Joy. Tell us more about your show that's coming up, Joy.
Oh, sure. So, actually, we're still in the planning phase, but I have been wanting to do a show highlighting some of my blurred upbringing, as well as share community with our blurred community. It's the Dream Con, which is basically like an anime con for us by us. Of course, everyone's welcome, but it specifically highlights Black culture, cosplay, anime culture, especially since we're still the thing is we're not new to the scene, but I think, I don't know, I can't speak for everyone, but I think the millennials, us in particular, I think we were like undercover DL anime blurs for a very long time. And I feel like recently, like maybe the past 8 years or around COVID, thanks to the internet, a lot of us are like, oh wow, we've all liked this. We've all been into this whole time. We all grew up on Dragon Ball Z. We all grew up on Sailor Moon and like Ronin Warriors, Gundam Wing, like Outlaw Star, like so many different things. So so the goal is I'm throwing an anime themed dance party, and I will be performing at 10:30. So and Friday, July 10th.
That's what's up. We love to hear it.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
If you guys didn't know, let's see if I can put that up there. Let's put this up here real quick. If you guys didn't know, this is a Women's History Month discussion featuring the Dr. Tamirah Terry and Sugar Joiko, Joy Keeling. I am very proud to have you guys on my show today. Like I said before, you guys are two of my favorite people on earth. And, I'm glad that I can, be here to interview you guys, but also at the same time to get you guys to do the show with me. Before we do that, though, we got a little bit of housekeeping that we got to do. And I want to show you guys the show that we just did in Chicago, very most recently, to everybody that has been following us and been paying attention. We had a very good time, and this is a snippet of it.
Why you ain't say nothing? I'm only gonna do this once. You always knew I'd make it in the beginning. Why you ain't say nothing? You believed in me the whole time, for real? Yeah. I couldn't tell. You was around me from the beginning. Why you ain't say nothing? Why you ain't say nothing? Seen them hard times, couldn't kill me. Why you ain't say nothing? Why you ain't say nothing? Stages on moon getting bigger. Now you wanna say something. Been watching my story all winter. Why you ain't say nothing? 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 You was around me from the beginning. Why you ain't say nothing? Stages on moon getting bigger. Now you wanna say something. Put that on my soul.
So this is very interesting that I have you guys up right now because our coalition, which is the Raw Society Coalition that you just saw on the screen, it is from Chicago, Georgia, and Texas.
Oh wow, nice,
cool. That's really cool.
So even though my mom is a transplant, my mom will always be Chicago. But on today's show, we have Chicago, Georgia, and Texas. Oh, this is great. This is great. What that also means that there might be some opportunities. Well, more like me taking a little vacation to see my people, to come just work with either one of y'all. So before we even get into today's show, I want to say, Mom, you have done a great job.
Thank you.
Far as Women's History Month and all the things that you have been doing for women over the last decade and a half of your life and pushing them forward. Would you like to tell anyone here about any of that right now before we get going?
Absolutely. Well, what started for me, the organization that I have that is a subsidiary of my company is Ladypreneur Laurels and the For Womanhood Conference Tour. And the way that all started was back in the day, I became a single parent to 5 children. And I knew how hard it was at times, especially times around holidays, birthdays, and stuff like that. And there was a movement to boycott Black Friday that was going around. And I said to myself, because sometimes you have to stop and think. You can't just jump on the bandwagon with people and all the stuff that they come up with, because a lot of times it's self-serving and they don't consider the people that it's affecting. So what happened was I thought about it and I said, what about all the moms like me that had to pull it together for their children? You want them to boycott Black Friday where they can get things up to 75% off only to pay 100% on Saturday? That doesn't make any sense. So I said to some of the officials, if you're going to offer something like that and you want everybody to be on board with you, then what you need to do is to offer people alternatives. Give them alternative places to shop. Why don't you support some of the women that have businesses? Right. Make that an alternative for people to shop. Then if you won't feel like it's a boycott in that manner, because they're still able to shop with those businesses and get the discounts and stuff that they need so that they can make the times with their kids, a lot more affordable and be able to have that time with their kids. So I didn't really get a positive response from anybody. So like how they say, um, each one teach one, or you be the person. You're always looking for somebody else to do something, but you be the solution. So I became the solution, and what I did was I started highlighting just by using social media. I started highlighting women who were in business. It didn't matter, what kind of business they had, as long as they were offering services or products or whatever it was. I highlighted those businesses and those women, and I pushed people in a direction to say, go and support them. So that's how it all got started 9 years ago. And then it started to just really get really big. When I was back in Chicago, I started with having Mommy's Night Out, which was an escape for me. I wanted to have adult conversations sometimes, and just not the kids all the time. So once a month, I would pick a different venue, and I would have a dinner or something for women who had children that were single parents. But then the word got out, and people started saying, I heard you guys had such a good time. I really wish I could come, but I'm not a single parent, or I don't have any children, or I'm married, but I am a woman and I still want to come. So then I started to open it up where everybody could come as long as you were a woman. But then it got to be a little bit too much as it grew. So instead of having it once a month, I started having it quarterly.
Yeah, and the men want to be there too.
Yes, the men want to be there too.
Yes, we do.
Anytime you have good eats, the men definitely want to be there.
We have a theme on our show. So I also run a show with Classic called the Human Experience.
Mm-hmm.
That is a shared show between me and him. But between his show, The Classic Codes, my show, my show, TezDown, and then our show, The Human Experience, we have a saying. God didn't create anything on this earth better than a woman. And if there is something better than a woman on this earth, I don't want it.
That's a good one.
I say it so many times because I do believe it's true. In the recent episodes, I've done episodes about protecting women's safety, but not just protecting women's safety on how we think that they should be protected. It's how you think that you should be protected. And therein lies the conundrum, because with our man brains, we don't necessarily think the same way that you do as women.
Right.
We don't feel things the way that you feel them, and we don't know in certain cases. Sometimes, a guy might say, oh, just forget about it, leave it alone. And we think that's perfectly fine. But here we are, we have just damaged your feelings and your trust of us.
That's really true.
That is not something that many of us, if you like women, you don't really want to damage their trust by brushing off their feelings. So I have another question for you, Joy.
Yes.
So now Mom's going to smile big. I already know this. The doctor. You guys don't get to call her Mom anymore. Y'all call her Doctor. She earned that title. I get to call her Mom. I get to, so I put her through a whole 9 months of labor. Well, almost 9 months.
Right.
Almost 9 months. I had to be born on the perfect number, which was, the 12th. I had to be born on the perfect number so we could times that by 2. Since I'm the second, 12 times 2, 24. Now y'all get it. You understand a little bit more now, right? Yeah. Senior is probably watching right now, but he's not coming up today. Nope, Senior, this ain't your show. I'll get you on another day. Senior gonna have to wait. Joy,
yes.
So on top of being, an artist, on top of being, a different type of artist, you do all types of things. You were telling me a little bit about a business that you have with venues, spaces, and weddings and party planning. Please tell me a little bit more about that.
Sure. So basically, since COVID, I've always been a full-time musician, pianist of 25 plus years. And when COVID happened, a lot of the venues in Houston, Texas overall shut down. We couldn't open due to COVID. And the venue that I worked for as a house musician for 5 years was shut down for 8 months. And in that time frame, I've always been asked to do private events, but sometimes it's hard to take off if you already got a stable house gig. So basically, I'm talking about the development of Joyful Entertainment. During COVID, what I noticed didn't stop happening was private events. If people wanted to get married, they got married. If people still wanted to celebrate a company party and write it off on they still did that thing. So I realized that the private market, although it probably was a lesser amount of clients, the industry overall did not stop because COVID said stop. People still hire what they wanted, and that's what segued me into owning and being the lead singer of Joy Lux Band, but also owning Joyful Entertainment, where I book my band, other bands, Latin bands, DJs, string players, solo pianists. I also own Piano Shells Houston, where we basically rent out piano shells. It's like a baby grand whole setup, but it's not a real piano. So for gigs when they're kind of like they want a pianist, but they don't like the X stand and the cables dangling from the keyboards, and we're sitting at it with our legs open. It's just, for me, it's not the most elegant look for pianists and keyboard players that get booked for private events. So we have shells in different colors, and we basically supply them for private, corporate, gala, fundraiser events. And we also supply the pianists or pianist vocalists that perform for events. So more so a booking agency, which also like books Sugar Joiko as well. So, but yeah, so I kind of went to that sector and followed that paper trail, and it's been treating me very well. It's been definitely investing in my career. So
I'm obviously gonna have Mom talk a little bit about that, and maybe y'all
Yeah.
can do something in the areas together. But
Sure.
I got to take a short second to show these people what you're actually capable of.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Ah.
I don't know what that.
There we go. Yeah, skills. Do your thing. Do your thing. I love it. I love
She
seeing
did her thing.
it.
She was actually giving me Morris Day and the Time vibes and Prince vibes and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and Janet Jackson,
Everything I grew up on. My mom loves Prince,
Mhm.
loves Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson. Grew up on a lot of soul, a lot of Gap Band, a lot of
Oh yeah.
yeah, definitely those influences. I mean,
Mhm.
we are the blueprint when it comes to music,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
we're all, and it's just unfortunate some of the styles that we birthed out of pure joy and creativity and just a lot
Mhm.
of connection that you wouldn't even know is from us because it's been completely rebranded into something else. But yes, house is ours, dance is ours, pop is ours. Like, so it's just,
Even
me
rock.
and rock
Even
Oh
rock.
yeah.
is ours.
Forget
And
about Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm a suburb girl, so it's like, when you're surrounded by, not your culture as much. It was,
Mhm.
I hate that. I thought that I grew up, being an Oreo. I thought I grew up liking like white music. And then it's like now that I'm older and now that I have learned more about the Chicago scene, which the South, we really didn't know that we started house like that. We didn't know we were already doing like techno and just like dancing to the rhythm. Like it didn't have to be about a plot. It was just about vibing and just like, so to see that that was always black, it's just like, oh my God, I've been black this whole time. Of course I have been, but like there's more ways to be black. And I think we accept that now, but it's just, yeah, I don't know.
So
Hopefully I
I'm
didn't
glad
go
that you
but,
mentioned this during Women's History Month. And because it's Women's History Month, I'm gonna move you guys to this side and I'm gonna step to the side and just ask both of you a question. Feel free to
Okay.
take turns answering this question if you would so choose. But as you found out in your lives, growing up, black women, and living in America, in the American cities and suburbs, and trying to make your way, how much more difficult has it been for you compared to some of your counterparts?
Like,
Well, for me, it was different because my sisters and I, we kind of felt displaced because there was a dividing line. If you're familiar with Chicago, it's built on a grid, and most of the grid streets are numbered streets. So we grew up about 7 or 8 blocks west of Cicero Road off of 47th Street. So 47th was like a dividing line. So we lived on the north side of 47th Street. and it slowly started growing all people of color. And if you lived south of 47th Street, it was still pretty much, for the most part, Caucasian. There were a few Hispanic families in there and a few Black families, but for the most part, it was Caucasian. So on the one side, we lived on the side where it was rapidly growing people of color. And we were rejected, my sister and I, because we went to parochial school, which was predominantly Caucasian. So when we went to the Caucasian school, the kids, had an issue with us. And then when we were around our peers in our culture, the kids had an issue with us because they felt like we thought we were better than them because we didn't go to school with them, and things like that. We would get told stupid stuff like, you talk like you're white because you spoke proper English. How do you tell somebody you talk like you're white because you're speaking proper English?
Right.
And so those are the kind of things that we had to deal with. But it for me, I just think that for me, my grounding has always been who God created you to be. God created you in his image and his likeness. And that's all that matters. Each and every person that God created. That's why it's so stupid for all the races and, different people to have problems with each other because you didn't create yourself. You have a creator and he decided what you should look like, what your skin color should be like, how many races you should have in you, how many, multiracial, if you're going to be multiracial. He decided all of that, from your hair color to skin color to eye color. But we have a problem with the way we look because we can't accept who he made us to be. So before we have a problem with each other, we have to have a problem with him because he is the one who said, this is what I want you to look like, and this is what I want you to come from. Growing up, that sounds ideal now, but growing up, you don't think about it like that. You just want to be accepted. You just want people to love you, and you can't understand why they don't just because you look a certain way or you talk a certain way. My family, had hair that was different from everybody. We had hair that was all the way down our waist. And people would say, oh, you think you're better because you have long hair. When you didn't have any control over what kind of hair
worst
you got.
part of that is people thinking that you put chemicals in your hair because of how your hair looks.
And you got that too. And my mother never put chemicals in our hair. But we were accused of having perms and stuff in our hair. We didn't have that stuff in our hair, but they thought we did. So, as a child, you don't understand stuff like that. All you want is to be accepted. But getting back on point to what the question was, now in my organization with the Ladypreneur Laurels and the Womanhood Conference Tour, one of the divisions of what I deal with is mentoring young girls about value and esteeming themselves highly, not basing themselves on what other people think that they should be like or look like, not trying to copycat and be like what they see on Instagram, but being themselves and realizing that duplicates are unnecessary. That's why when people are so successful in music, as you know, Joy, when you're successful in music, when you're successful in all of the arts, it's because you're an original. The reason why Michael Jackson was so successful is because he was an original. Prince was an original. They didn't try to be somebody else. And we have so many girls that want to sound like each other or sound like one favorite artist, or guys that want to dance, kind of like Michael Jackson did, or emulate his voice. But you're forgetting that that's not who God created you to be. You got your
So my chat, y'all hear and y'all see it right away. Y'all thought that I was just like this, huh? You see what was put into me my whole life? See, I can look at y'all and I can say the stuff that I say to y'all every single day. I know I'm handsome. Look at the family and the stock that I came from. I got two gorgeous sides of family just mashing together. No details. My mother is here after all. Now, put some respect with a K on her name.
With a K.
With a K.
Respect.
RESPECK. Respect. Like I think, not to stop you, Mom, but I think that it's very important to understand who you are as a young person.
That's true. And a lot of young girls don't get that. So that's what we do. We try to make women feminine again, because especially down here, you don't see a lot of femininity with a lot of women. You know, we have women that are overly aggressively masculine. And we try to instill women, get your femininity back, get your soft life back, get looking like a woman again, wear dresses and heels again, that kind of stuff. And also, we instill in them what your value is. Know your value. You know, your value is not based on how a man perceives you to be. Your value is based on the man and how he sees you to be, what he created you to be. And when you go with that, you pretty much can't go wrong. Because I'm gonna tell you, my son will tell you, sometimes people can get in the heat of an argument and they're yelling and screaming, and I'll say stuff like, "Why are you yelling?" Because I truly believe you can express yourself without having to do all of that. You don't have to compromise who you are just to get your point across. You
Well,
know,
I mean, Mom, you gotta understand this too.
Sometimes silence is power. Silence is also
Yep.
information.
that's really true.
You know,
And, you know, I was raised by all of y'all. You know, you, my grandmother, my grandfather, and they taught me certain things. My grandfather made sure that he reiterated this after putting all of us in martial arts, including you. If y'all didn't know this, my mom is a certified martial artist.
I am. I'm a green belt.
My mom is a certified martial artist. My grandfather did not let us. My grandfather said you have to have two things in life, and that's this.
Don't you worry about me. I'm a master of martial arts, and I'm also packing some serious heat.
My God.
You did not. I know you laugh because you know what I'm talking about. Oh wow, it did not play. So Joy, you didn't know this, but my grandfather was also a recording artist. My grandfather had multiple #1. I might have told you about this before. My grandfather had multiple #1 hits. He was a blues musician, and he actually quit. He quit to have a family and to follow God, and he became a Baptist preacher after that. And you know, just lived life as a family man. And I asked him, one of the last things I asked him, you know, before he went away, was when James Brown called you, why did he stay? He looked at me in my face, and I never told my mom this story, so it's the first time she's hearing it. He looked at me in my face and he said, "Have you seen your mama and your grandma?
Yeah.
Ain't nothing on the road that could compare to that." That's what he said. Nothing on the road could compare to that. And I got all of you, and I finally have a son. He looked at me right in my face and told me he finally has. He didn't have any boys.
James Brown had asked him, Joy, to be his bass guitarist. My dad was a bad bass guitarist.
Ooh,
and James Brown asked him to be his bass guitarist back in the day. But yeah, like he said, he walked away from all of that after so many years of doing it. He walked away from it.
Yeah, it does get old. I mean, I've done a few, you know, tours. I do a bunch of performances with like Disney Cruise Line, like Alaska things. I performed in Japan on television there, and it's taxing. And at the end of the day, it's, I don't know. Eventually it gets redundant, and I feel that once you feel that you have it all, like, oh, I'm popular, I'm traveling, I'm making money, but none of that replaces a solid foundation, a circle.
That's how he felt.
And you know what I mean? Being able to come to a place called home, you know what I mean? So, well, that's
but you know, the funny thing about it is, in all that, you know, it's funny, you know, talking about this today, it makes you remember certain things. As you were talking earlier about like the culture of the music and all of that, the one thing that I kept thinking about was the saying, music is a universal language. So if you go to Japan or different places in the world where they can't even speak English, but they have certain songs that we've done here, we hear certain songs that they've done there, and it doesn't even matter if you don't understand the words of what they're saying, you can still relate to the music, as it was with my dad's music. Because even though my dad has been gone for 16 years now, do you know that there are two promoters? One is from Canada and one is in the UK. And they still promote my dad's music in the UK. His songs are still being played. They've digitally remastered all his stuff, and him and his brothers. They play their stuff over there. And so now I'm like, this, and that might be something for you too. We need to take our stuff over there, where they love our music over there, and it's timeless.
So we have Classic said, I can't wait to tour and perform my music until it feels redundant. Major blessing. Classic, I'm gonna get you and Joy on a conference call very soon so we could try to plan something. She already knows who you are, and we talked about it, and we're gonna try to get you on there too. We tried to wake you up this morning. We couldn't get the classic be up late at night. He wakes up in the morning at 4 a.m. to train.
Wow.
He will be having a major boxing match soon.
Okay,
and who knows, maybe I'll be a
tickets.
part of the card somewhere.
You gonna be in Vegas? We want to go. We want to be
let
there.
y'all know what's going on. We're gonna let y'all know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? He said they love me in the Greece, the Philippines, and Mexico. The rest of the world, I'm on the way. We are international. We have an international panel. We have an international crew. And the Raw Society Coalition is international. Every day we're adding new people and talking to new people about things. Joy, so I've watched you perform over the last 12 years. You know, I met you in 2014. And you know, I heard your voice on one song, and I was like, she got it.
Wait. Joy, did you used to go when Cortez promoted the club and twirled the glow sticks?
No, she wasn't there for that. No, she was in Houston still. She missed all of that.
That was awesome.
She missed all of that. She missed all the club days. Now you can't pay me to be inside one.
You need to show a clip of that, Cortez. You twirling them glow sticks.
Oh, it's on TikTok.
A proper tour of Chicago, period. I have never been there long enough to truly I've only really been in the downtown area, so I'd like to experience more.
Well, odds are we're gonna have another show here in sometime this year. I will send you a personal invite.
Yeah, let me know.
You can come to it. It's
Awesome.
gonna be a great thing. Maybe we can get on the panel. Depends on how you feel. Joy, I have to ask. So you know, after hearing the song, you know, Mom, I don't know if you remember my redheaded friend Matt, but
yes,
Matt sent me the track, and he goes, "What you think about this?" Because he knows, like, when it comes to music, like I'm very particular. So he sent it to me, and I listened to it, and I'm like, okay, I like this. Who is this voice? Who is this voice? And he was like, oh, that's just Joy. I'm like, just Joy?
Just Joy?
Yeah. And he was like, she's pretty cool. I'm like, no. She ain't pretty cool. She has got it. He was like, so you saying that we should release the song? Yes, release the song. And the song blew up. You know, and then your album came out right after that. And the next thing that I see is you are at the I believe it was the you were at the Houston Rockets game, standing on the Big R, singing songs in front of 12,000 people.
That is awesome. That is really awesome.
Thank y'all.
Congratulations.
So how did your nerves work? Because I know that you've worked everywhere from a party of none to over 15,000 people, festivals, events overseas where like you were singing in another language and they are rocking with you. And you know, your overseas following is also pretty nice, if I do say so myself. Your overseas following is pretty nice. You know, they love Joy, you know, and or as they call it, Sugar Joiko.
That's where it's at, Joy.
They love it. Sugar Joiko in Japan. They do. You know, as well as many of us blurs here. And I've seen so many remixes of a bunch of your songs that are coming out on SoundCloud. And how do you feel when you see people remixing your music and people in the comment section asking, who is this?
I mean, I love it. You know, at the end of the day, it's meant to be shared. And I love hearing other people's perspective. Like, you know, I can only come up with my idea, but that's why they say two heads are better than one. So it's when people do remix it or put their own like twang to it, I think it's really cool. And also obviously immensely flattering. So,
you guys should collaborate and do an anime of Joy and her music. Do a cartoon with her music. That would be hot.
You gonna make me break my pencils back out again?
That would be hot. Yeah, or your nephew.
Well, yeah, maybe I'll get him to do it. You know, I haven't necessarily been practicing my drawing in the last like year or two, but he's still up on it. So we have reached the portion of the show where it's not that time yet. We have reached the portion of the show where you guys are gonna watch some videos with me. And react to them. You guys ready for your debut into reactionary content? We got some topics that were sent to me by some viewers, and I think the first one's going to be career woman.
Okay.
You might know them. This is the Portia Show. If you don't know them, get tapped in.
Do you mean the Portia show, like down here, Portia Bruner? I know Portia
Yes,
Bruner.
that's why it's picked. That's why it's picked. We know that. I mean, maybe we don't know, but I know that you know. If they don't know, now they know. So this was a panel. I believe you have done even an event with her before, but this is a panel that she had, and we're gonna watch a little bit of their panel and see what these career ladies have to say about life and living it.
I thank you for coming back to the table, but I knew you would because this conversation is good and lots of lessons that we are getting from our guests today. I want to shift from the business space to your personal space, if I may have permission to do so,
Personal
ladies.
space.
Dating in your careers. I don't want to put the adjective out there. I would say sometimes challenging. You would say different.
Yeah, different. Because I use the term purpose partner now.
Purpose partner. And tell me more about the origins of a purpose partner.
Like, someone who's going to match what I want to do. He's going to support me. I'm going to support him. Because some relationships, you tend to want to bring yourself down. I'm not in that space anymore. I need to grow. And so the important thing for me is someone who's ready to encourage me. I encourage him. It used to be somewhat of a priority. I won't say it's not important now, but sitting with a mentor the other day, he reminded me that there's more for me to do. So yes, that's still important, but it's not. It's it's now on the side.
Understood. Carmen, for you?
I think for me, I'm recently divorced.
Okay.
So I've been dating and trying to figure things out. So
how hard was that? Just sort of stepping back out because you were married for how long?
So we were together for 5, married for 1, Portia.
Okay, I understand. So there's all the things of trying to get self-esteem and decision-making, all those things back out.
Yeah, and so I don't give guys my social media. I don't want them playing around to see what I do and where I go and all of that. I want it to grow organically. I don't want it to be a business partnership. I want it to be a romantic partnership.
Okay, okay. That's the interesting part because we're not giving out phone numbers or social media now,
just
right?
Catch me where you can.
What? So what? Okay,
I feel that. I've had dates in the airport.
Really?
Catch me at the Terminal 3.
You tell me more. How did the Terminal 3 airport date go?
I mean, it was fine. We grabbed some snacks and talked, Okay.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're just so busy, and at this stage of my career, I'm so busy.
Right.
So it's like just trying to.
If y'all know anything about Terminal 3, that is a very, very big airport.
Yes.
And there's probably 120 restaurants just in that terminal.
This is a ATL.
Yeah. Hartfield Jackson.
Yeah. The busiest airport in the world now. It replaced O'Hare.
I've seen it. My dad used to work for TSA there. And he, he was like, I don't know where he showed me, but it was like, you could see like 4 or 5 planes like landing at the same time. And I was
Oh, yeah. So she's not fronting when she says they had, I mean, it might as well just be like a meeting spot, but she's not lying. She said they had plenty of space for her date there because they definitely did.
Squeeze it in. And I always say there's a lot of people that are interested, but they might not be prepared
to do the work that it takes.
Absolutely.
And it's not like on some, I'm so about to be on this flight. I've got 2 hours. If you want to meet me at the terminal, we could, or, wherever and go from there. Yeah. So
now I played this part to say, because I know I'm not going to stretch you guys too thin today, but I played this part and we're going to react to it now. So what I see, and what most men see when we hear this and when we see this is, well, she great, but she ain't got no time for me. How do you balance everything that you're doing with your career, but also finding time to go on a date?
Well, you know what? It's kind of like the opposite of what they say about men. You make time for somebody who you're interested in. If she's not making time for you, then she doesn't consider it as important as what she's doing. So, if you are interested in somebody, you will make time for that person to show them that they're important to you. That's across the board, no matter if it's a man or a woman.
Facts. I
Mm-hmm.
think that these women are also a very specific type of woman, so I would not apply any of their answers overall to how women think or interact with men for men. Everything about their lifestyle from sun up to sundown is completely different than a woman working 9 to 5 or a small business owner, or I just think that they also are a very specific type of person. So they orbit specific type of men as well.
I have to agree with you on that because like the one said that she does not she knows she doesn't indulge in social media because she wants things to happen organically. We don't really live in a world now where people are meeting each other organically. Everything is so microwavable through dating sites, all the multiple types of social media that what's the likelihood that you're going to meet somebody in the gas station or the supermarket or the cleaners now, and you're going to connect. So it just broadens the horizon to be able to meet more people, I think, by utilizing every a bit of social media that's out there. It's not saying, because like I don't put my phone number unless you get one of my flyers or something, it may have a phone number in there, but my phone number is not on my page, and address and all that kind of stuff for privacy reasons, but also for safety measures as well. So, everybody's not putting that kind of information out there, but to think that somebody is going to meet you organically from social media, you might not even live in the same state.
Exactly. So, a lot of the men that have been present in these spaces and on my show and on other shows, they have iterated that whenever they try to speak to a woman, it feels like they're having a fight with them. This is why this is so funny for me.
I was referring to fighting a man. I don't fight people with the fallopian tubes, okay?
And so arguing with women is not necessarily something that you want to be involved in as a man at all.
Right.
It doesn't really do anything for you. And like I said, if you like women, the last thing you want to do is have arguments with them about anything. I love that I get to say this and have my mom here, because my grandfather was notorious for going to his room and turning on a Western. If he didn't feel like interacting with anybody because or whatever, and then later on it was the computer and his music. But before the computer and his music, it was his chair and the Westerns. And increasingly in today's society, it's a lot more difficult to even find that type of respect or space when dealing with someone else because they want to be right in your face.
Right. And for me, I grew up in an age where, and I'm dating myself now, there weren't a lot of little Black children that were on TV when I was growing up. So when you got one on there, you kind of like gravitated towards them. So for me, it was Todd Bridges and Kim Fields and Janet Jackson. And, Janet Jackson, as early as me and her are the same age. So it was like as early as 5 years old. And when she was on TV was when I started watching it. And as she grew up, I grew up with her and started emulating. And I still say one thing that she used to say back then. I say it, and people that really know me, when you get into these conversations with people, and some people, they like to push your envelope sometimes and a little bit more confrontational. And I'm one of the ones that I'm very quick to say, I'm a lover, not a fighter. That came straight from Janet Jackson. I'm a lover, not a fighter. So I say that a lot. I like to talk things out, reason with people. I do not like to fight, but I think that a lot of what we see today is both men and women have a guard, and it's to protect themselves because they've been hurt so many times. So in understanding the differences between the two, I think that plays a big part as to why we're seeing people react the way that they do. Is self-preservation.
So Classic says, Tez, I can officially tell that your mom and mine are from the same area. Chicago used to breed a different type of energy. We are blessed, bro. They actually lived one street over from each other.
Really?
So, yeah, they actually lived one. You already talked about where it was, but I'm not gonna put his family's information out there. But let's just say the other L that was right next to ours. So that's where they lived at. So they lived. We lived on one L. They lived on the other L, and y'all know those are back to back streets separated by an alley. So they definitely came from the same area. They went to. I'm pretty sure they went to the same high school at the same time, and maybe mom, when because his mom did show up to the show. Maybe the next show that we do, you can be there as well. Joy, I gotta ask.
I want to answer this question.
Yeah, because you had your hand raised. Don't say go ahead. I see the respect, but go ahead, do your thing, Joy.
So no, I completely agree with everything your mother said. I think that though a portion of it, or if I don't know, maybe a little bit of devil's advocate, but I truly believe that in this day and time, and I don't mean any shade, my brothers, my men, whatever, a lot of men don't really know how to talk to women today. Like, at least from my personal experience, like I feel like sometimes, you know, with the approach, it's very kind of self-serving and it gives me anxiety. It almost feels like the transaction is already kind of being discussed, what you want from me. And I feel like sometimes guys, like they just kind of, the approach is just kind of like, well, what's your number? Well, when I'm going to see you, or when we going to get to, you know, it's like me. And it's like, I feel that if a dude was to sit next to you, notice that you're drinking like, I don't know, like a grapefruit cocktail and be like, oh, you like grapefruit? What makes you like that? Like instantly I'm like, oh shit, he actually asked me a question about me. And I'm not saying that like it's all about me. I'm just saying like, if you're trying to court someone or convince someone why they need to spend time with you, I think that it's a normal gesture to at least notice something about them before kind of coming, I wouldn't call it aggressive, but it just seems like, this is what I want, give it to me. And I'm like, I don't even know you. So for me, sometimes it has been a bit of an anxiety kind of experience. And I just kind of like, sometimes I do shy away. I'm never disrespectful. I'm never the one to make a man feel awful for even coming to me. I'm always very pleasant and nice and thank you so much. And, you know, I keep it moving, but sometimes, yeah, like as soon as they start to approach, I'm like, what kind of energy?
You never had none of these moments?
Shut your stupid ass up.
From
part of what you're dealing with is some things that we've dealt with. I've done a podcast with, I had a co-host, and he gave the male perspective, I gave the female perspective, queendom perspectives, bridging the relationship gap, because it takes two. The thing about it is, part of what we would try to accomplish is women being ladies and men being gentlemen, bringing chivalry back, and understanding the differences between the two, because we have to understand in a lot of households where they're run by single women that have sons, no matter what anybody says, you can be a woman, but you can never think like a man because your brain's not wired to think like a man.
It's a man, baby.
You'd like to think that you know what a man would think or say in a certain situation, but you're not wired like that. I don't care if you go look like a man, try to get surgery to be a man. It ain't happening because God programmed your body as a woman. So you can only instill what you know as a woman. Now you can give advice and things like that, but there are certain things that only a man can instill in another man, a young boy, to tell him, hey, when you take a young lady out, or you notice a young lady sitting someplace, you notice what she's doing, ask her this, ask her, to kind of coach them. The same way we coach little girls in telling them, hey, honey, let's put a bow in your hair. Why don't you try this perfume? There's certain things we can teach little girls, but there's certain things that we can't teach little boys being women. They definitely need a man in their lives who has that kind of gentlemanly way to be nice.
Classic has a comment for you guys, and I'm going to read his comments out, so just follow along with me.
Sure.
Classic said, men are definitely out of practice because we don't go through the process of trying as failing as much as we used to. One of the few reasons is why women reject men is more embarrassing than ever. You used to be able to ask a woman out and get a yes or a no. Today, you may end up on someone's viral video or in someone's group chat. Men become fatigued with the barriers to entry with modern women. So one of the things that I have talked about on this show is there has to be a path to success and a path to victory. So a simple yes or a no is great, but I believe that what I've heard from women, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I have two wonderful examples of women right next to me, is women don't feel safe to say no because of what could happen if they simply said no to someone that they weren't interested in. So if you can, I know, Joy, you had your hand raised again. Go ahead and let me know how you feel about this.
I want to first acknowledge that what he's saying is absolutely true. It just sucks that every shoe doesn't fit every person kind of thing. Before cell phones made men viral, I can personally, from experience, I know what it's like when a guy tries to holler and you shut them down and like, well, I don't really give a damn about your fat, ugly, and completely insulted. And that for me is embarrassing that is very embarrassing. It's like, I wasn't even talking to you, bro. So, it just sucks that we're taking experiences, other people's bad experiences, and applying it to an umbrella of our culture. And I don't think that's who we are as a people. And I hate that everything goes back to, like, I wouldn't say as far as slavery, but supremacy. Like, our community, we were the godfathers of romance and poetry. Yep. And you know what I mean? Like, yes, R&B, like even in the 90s, I knew what it was like to hear music by men that was about like appreciating the woman's body, appreciating her soul, appreciating. Right. Now it's completely changed into just like
exactly. It quickly changed to you're nothing but a sex object. That's the way the music portrayed it to be, is all sexual. It was nothing romantic, with the exception of Kim. Now, Kim and Babyface are still one of my favorites. They get it. They still get it. So
2000, like I think 90s, especially when House came out, I think 90s was probably the last era where everything was just black. Pardon my French, but everything was black as fuck. And I feel like 2000 on after, I don't think that we have controlled our narrative. We have not controlled what's been made popular. We have not controlled any of those things. So I don't think that we are actively saying we want to hear music about bitches, sluts, and drugs and side pieces, and I'm going to steal his girl, or I don't know. It's just, I just feel like we're like, our music today is so weaponized. Like,
well, and it's funny that you mentioned this, because the next segment and the last segment, unless you guys want to keep talking afterwards, but the next segment and the last segment is a part of this conversation, because those were distinguished women from the last generation. It would only be fair to talk to distinguished women from this generation. But here on the TezDown, it is sports unscripted, culture unfiltered. We do and we say whatever we want. We do everything that we want, whenever we want, and how many times. And right now, we've been sitting, and it is a little past 1 p.m. 2 in other places. And what we always do around now is we get ourselves a nice stretch break. And today, the stretch break is brought to you by the wonderful music of Sugar Joiko. You guys, follow me while we do this. Oh, yeah. Get your hands together. Check out, y'all. The little store right, y'all. Let's press down on the TezDown. All right, everybody, favorite part next off. Leigh. All right, that's no. Anyway, now let me spin, y'all. Give me a deep breath. Track the necklace again, yeah. I could just listen to that wonderful music all day, but y'all didn't pay for it this time. So stretch. All right. So we got
super chats
in 2026. Thank you again for the wonderful music for today's episode, Joy. I appreciate it so much, as do my chat. We definitely enjoy the upbeatness and the positive message that you have been providing for us over the last decade and some change. We like it. We love it. We're going to hear from some women on the Poor Minds podcast and what they have to say about dating. And why isn't dating fun?
Isn't it? You said why isn't?
Yep.
For sure. Come from two different worlds. But one thing I really genuinely admire about men, at least all of the men that I know, most of the men that I know, if niggas ain't happy, they gone. They leaving.
Right.
Us as women, we will still
be trying to ride or die, stick it out, hold it down.
We be trying to hold it down, or like we be afraid to move on, or you feel like you too old. You been with this nigga for 15 years, now you in your 40s. You like, oh, I'm too old to move on, or you might not be that financially stable. If he been taking care of you, oh, I need him. I can't start over. It's too late. Niggas gonna leave.
Niggas gonna leave. That's a fact.
Even if they not financially stable, they gonna go sleep on another bitch couch.
Hey,
they gonna leave though.
They gonna leave.
They leave.
This is what I'll have to say about that too. I feel like, for one, that says a lot about the dating pool though, because honestly, I used to have a roster in my 20s. I used to always have a roster. It's hard to find more than one nigga I like though. It's very hard. So sometimes I end up dating one person because I can't find nobody else. It ain't a lot of options out here. For a woman like me, no kid, making money, funny, ass fat, pussy good. Don't get me started on this mouth now.
Don't get started.
Okay.
I believe you.
But what I'm saying, is it'd be hard because it's like when you have standards and you're dating, it's harder for you to keep dating. A lot of these niggas, let's keep it real, they don't be having standards. So it's easy for them to keep dating until they find the one because they don't give a fuck. We always said men don't fuck cement if it's wet.
Carlos told us it's not true though.
Yeah, maybe for Carlos because Carlos has access to different types of women. We're talking about a man who was in the 1%, the 1 percentile. Okay, you cannot say what Carlos's experience is. I mean, look who he's dating now, Bree. Bree is a 1%er. Okay, so their dating experiences are going to be different. If we're talking about the average person, yeah, it's going to be like, okay, it's easy for them to date because their standards are loose and all over the place. So I sometimes feel like, yeah, that's cool for men to keep dating, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to keep dating around and have 5 men on my roster just to have 5 men on my roster. Now, if I'm dating a guy and I like him and he cool, but we not exclusive yet, another guy comes along, I'll give him a chance. You know, you can take me get a little oyster, little crab leg. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I kind of disagree. I feel like I feel like it's more so to do with like the standards that you have for yourself, like, and knowing your worth.
Right.
I think that's why, if anything, I think sometimes men kind of be like knowing they worth more than us as women, and that's why they move around. That's not because they don't have no standards, but because they like, okay, like, no, this not good enough for me. I'm leaving.
Right. But a lot
I think
of times
us as women, we be
too
knowing.
much credit too, though. A lot of times they don't be thinking like that.
The thing is, as I get older, I really be trying to get to a point to where I don't say what I think like men think, because I'm not a man.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Neither one of us are. So it's like, I don't think I'm giving them too much credit. I can only go off of what the people I have conversations with tell me who are men.
Right, because you're around different type of men now.
I don't think so. I think that I have... we're not only specifically talking about people that I'm dating. I feel like if it comes,
I'm not talking about men that you're dating.
Yeah, I feel like if it comes to down even to my friend groups, like I feel like I have men in my life who do different things for a living.
Right.
Who are all on different levels. But I can only go based off of like the things that guys be telling me how they feel. So I'm trying to get to a point where I'm like, oh, like we're giving them too much credit. Because if they say that this is what it is, how are we gonna say it's any different because we're women?
I mean, it's not, I guess I just see like the proof is in the pudding. Like I said, I do see men that are very picky and they feel like, okay, you know what, I deserve more, so I move around. But I do see men who just do shit just to do it because she fine and she got some good pussy. I want to see what her pussy
maybe them low vibrational niggas, I don't be having them around me.
I mean, I don't have them around me, but I see it happening.
No,
I
I'm
see,
not
you know,
saying you have them around you.
yeah.
I'm just saying like that's not something that I've ever really seen. Like I feel like I've never really just had male friends who just be out here just fucking with mad bitches just because.
I mean, but we know it be happening because we talked about this before. Like sometimes women don't be having shit going for themselves, except, you know, you got to have a baby to have your way. You got to fuck with this nigga to have your way. You're not having your way by yourself. So you do things that are low vibrational. So a nigga gonna move around because he knows like, okay, this woman is starting to require too much. This girl not gonna require me to take her on no trip. She's not gonna require me to take her to dinner. She just want to be around the gang. So
I mean, that's the gist of what they're talking about now. And obviously, you guys might have a different opinion than they do. As you can see, there was 2 very marked differences between how the ladies at the beginning spoke and how these ladies are speaking. And to me, it sounds like one group is more focused on what they're doing and letting everything else come to them, and one group is actively looking but telling you that they're not. Am I missing something here, ladies?
No, I think it's definitely a specific demarcation between the first group and the second group. I think the first group seem like they know what they want, but they are more into themselves, where they're not even entertaining the possibility of letting a man in for various reasons. You know, one lady said that she had been divorced. You know, she'd been with a guy 5 years. They got married. They were together 1 year and they're divorced. The other ones are like, you know, schedule, when can I fit this in? Because I'm taking care of my priorities and what my goals are and what I want to do first. The second ones were like, they want a guy, they want to date, but it's kind of like, who's running things? You know, the guy is saying, this is the way I'm going to handle you. And the one lady is saying, on the one half, I might do it this way, or I may do it this way. I totally didn't agree with what either one of them were saying, because I truly believe, like I said, I am a believer. So I believe there's not a shortage of anything that God put on this earth. And it is a lie that they sold the masses, especially men sold it to women into believing that there's a shortage of men so that the women would feel like we have to share. And you've heard that in some circles. People repeat that. There's not enough men, so we have to share. There's more women than men. No, there's not. You have to enlarge your territory and expand your surroundings. You got to sometimes go outside your neighborhood, go outside your race, go outside your country, you know. But some women, first of all, don't want a man because they're gay and they want a woman. So that alleviates them from the pool competing for the ones that want men. You know what I'm saying? And then there's some of them that are already married. So they're not looking for single men because they already got their
they
husband.
are.
Well, sometimes, you know, that could
Yes,
be.
they are.
But I'm saying it definitely, when you start changing your mindset and you think about things differently, you have a whole nother mindset. Like my mindset has, you know, you have a lot of men now, you know, saying to women, do the same thing we do. Date multiple men at the same time. We date multiple women. Why don't you date multiple men? I'm kind of like this type of person. When there's somebody that I really, really like, I kind of zero in on that person because I feel like if you are liking this person over here, liking this person over here, you're going to be indecisive. There's always going to be somebody that you like a little bit better in this area, or like this person might have great conversation. This person, you might like the way he plans dates. You know, he's very creative and you can relate. I'm a creative. I know you are creative too. You know, we both do event design and stuff like that. So we're creative. So if you get with somebody, it's a meeting of the minds where you have somebody, I don't know how to plan a date, you know, or something like that. Of course, you're going to migrate over here, but you do yourself, I think, this is just my opinion, I think you do yourself a huge disservice when you don't have focus, because you have to focus in on that person to get to know what that person likes, what that person does not like, what you like and what you don't like, to be able to truly build something substantial. If you're just over here, you'll never want to settle down because and I think that that's one of the problems with the men that don't settle down, that will be in a relationship or drag a woman on for 10 years and won't marry her. 15 years they're still together and you won't marry her. Why? Because you're dating so many people. In your mindset, you're thinking there's somebody else out there and I ain't met her yet.
Well,
so
Mom,
I'm not going
I
to
have
take
a
a
question.
chance, you know?
So I have a question. You know, as you guys can see, Mom definitely has some good, solid opinions. So here's the issue, though. I think, Mom, I feel like the generation that directly, came after yours doesn't necessarily share the majority of those values.
They don't.
So I'm gonna have to ask Joy. Joy, what was your take on these two conversations?
It sucks because it's like I see their points. I don't really care for how they deliver. I'm very anti have a roster. I don't believe that you need to have a roster, but I do support dating until it's like an official relationship. But I wouldn't necessarily. That doesn't always mean sleeping with everybody that you're dating. But I think it's okay. Like dating is a numbers game, whether people want to admit that or not. Some people get it right the first time. A lot of us don't, and that is just a human thing that happens, you know. So I saw some points on either side, like only because I've witnessed so many great men in my life, and you know, hopefully it doesn't turn anyone off. But I'm bisexual, so but I've never been. I'm never anti-men. I'm not anti-women. My thing is like, look, you know, the best thing we can do is work on ourselves to be the best version of ourselves, to be anything whole with anybody else. Point blank, period, you know. But I do see some of their things, and being of their age group, I've witnessed some things where some guys really don't care. But I also agree with the other girl, like we can't automatically know what men are thinking all the time. We shouldn't. It's not you know, all we worry about is joy. That's all I can worry about, you know what I mean?
I would say that men don't tell you what they think the majority of the time. At least not successful ones. And I have my reasons for believing this. You know, I've been around my fair share of men. I mean, Mom, you were married to my father. You know, he don't talk about everything all the time ever. You know, and you witnessed my grandfather, who sometimes didn't talk at all. You know, I distinctly remember plenty of times in my life where my grandfather didn't say a word all day. Like not a single word, you know, until dinner time. Who's
But
sitting in my
that's
chair?
how we are though. You know, remember that Joy? Somebody had made a joke about it. Cortez, you probably heard the joke too. No, I think it was it John Avanzini? I think it was. I think it was John Avanzini told this joke, but it was a man and he didn't talk very much. Then didn't talk much at all. And then one day it was that he just was chatty Cathy. He just talked all day. And he said, I finally figured out why I talked all day. He said, I accidentally put my wife's dentures in my mouth this morning. Because women, we like to express ourselves and we like to get our point across like that. But men can do that, you know, with their silence. How was your day? You come home, you want to hear, how was your day?
Well,
and then
also,
what do they say? Fine. You ask us, how was your day? Let me tell you, you know, we have to go from.
Let's go. That's a W. That's E1. That's E1.
Now, I do from the bottom of my heart feel that there are some things that, like how I know women are more nurturing, women are more emotionally intelligent. I know that we get that. But I do feel that men are capable of being more considerate and being more attentive, I think they're fully capable of that. I think that sometimes we do boys a disservice telling them that they can't feel, that they can't.
Right. They can't cry. They can't be sensitive.
From the
things
lovely
like that.
Chanel.
And I think that if we didn't teach boys that, I think the communication between at least in our community, the communication between the sexes wouldn't be so.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? And
a very good point.
And also for women, the side thing of that too is like the idea that that your ideal husband is a rich man.
Right.
Oh,
that's not true. It's not.
That's right.
Varies within their orbit, and that orbit can be a lesser than, higher than, a new state, a new country. You don't know what that is, but I just
let's talk about that a little bit, Joy, because especially for me living down here, I see it all the time, Cortez. Down here, men have this idea because a lot of women have expressed these things that they're only looking for men, and that's why you see a lot of younger women with older established men, because it's like, what can I get out of him? So men get this impression that all women are like that. All they want is my money. All they want is what I can do for them, you know, and stuff like that. And it's not like that for everybody. I think that when Daryl and I talk about the meshing or the bridging that relationship gap between the two, what there needs to be an understanding is that get to know that person, because everybody is different. Everybody has different wants. They have different needs and expectations of what they want. And once you let go of the past and what happened to you in the past, is not to say, because a lot of people have that, conception, well, everybody's out to get me, or this person's going to try to do what that person did. I think that we would be much better off if each person just try to get to know the person that they're with without judging them on what somebody else did or isn't doing, or what the general society is saying we should be doing.
So I have a question. Before I put the question, I'm gonna put this back up here. The lovely Chanel in the chat has said, "Mom is beautiful. Both women are." She gave y'all both hearts.
Thanks, Chanel.
Chanel is also very lovely of a person as well. Thank you, Chanel, for complimenting these two wonderful people up here. Do you guys think that people actually heal?
Yes,
I do. Absolutely. Everybody heals. Everybody should be given a chance of change. I also think a lot of people that consider themselves jaded, I'm kind of like, bro, she broke your heart in middle school. You was a 32-year-old man. Tell women that they ain't worth it. They don't cheat on you and leave you for but you know what I mean? So it's like, and it's college also. Like, I feel like up until once you get out of college, that's when life really begins. That's when you change. I feel like I was a different person at 18 than I was at 21, and then at 25. And after 25, it feels like you're a different person. 26, 27, 28, 29. Like you just keep learning and you keep molding. So, and with that, healing has to be a part of that equation, you know. And it also helps if you have a good support system. A lot of people that don't heal don't have people pouring into them,
Right.
giving them courage, giving them, you know.
Right. Joy, try 60. I'm going to be 60 on Friday.
You look good, sis. Black don't crack. Amazing. You really do. You really do.
McKinnon said,
Yes, ma'am.
McKinnon, one of our resident trolls and good people, McKinnon said, I'm unsubscribing from Tez's show and subscribing to Tez's mom's show. Sons of Mice said, I met my third wife in middle school.
Get
She
out
was
of
a teacher.
Wow. McKinnon ask him if he's related to Dennis McKinnon.
He just heard you.
Are you related to Dennis McKinnon?
They are watching you live.
Chicago Bears.
Happy early birthday, says the.
Thank you. I'm going to Chicago, y'all. We gonna party.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I'm not going nowhere near that party. Y'all ladies are wild. I went to. So let me tell you guys, okay? Let me tell y'all. So I get a call from my mom, and she says, you have my mom's telephone voice. Let me see if I can do it. She said, "Hello, Cortez. How are you doing today?" "I'm doing all right, Mom. What's going on?" "Well, I'm about to be in town this weekend, and then all of my friends are coming. Meet us over here at this venue." It was a country club, mind you. I did not realize that. I'm thinking I'm about to go to like the Marriott and walk into a room. No.
Oh, man.
I show up to the country club, and the first thing is there's rose petals all over the ground as I'm walking into the country club, and it's not a red carpet, it's a purple carpet.
Purple carpet. It was my purple. I did a Purple Rain birthday theme. You know, rain though not. It's a play on Prince's Purple Rain, but it's rain because we're queens. REIGN. Purple Rain. Yeah.
Which is funny because one of our panel members and one of the RSC members, her name is Conversations with Soft Rain. Just spelled the same way. Conversations with Soft Rain. You know, Soft Rain is awesome. She is the first lady of the RSC, and she definitely said, "Hey, Mom." You know what I'm saying? Soft Rain is in there. Conversation with Soft Rain. Y'all make sure to check out Conversation with Soft Rain when y'all get time. Y'all should go subscribe to Conversation with Soft Rain. She got a lot of content and a bunch of shows dropping, and I bet she would love to have y'all on there for some ladies talking. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a little bit different when y'all talking to the ladies. So while we're there, Joy, so as soon as we walk in, there's like 2-3 photographers that just start snapping pictures. And I'm like, I don't even have my glasses on. Like, you know, I have light sensitivity, have for a very long time. You know, I ain't got my glasses on. I'm thinking I'm going into a dark space. Nope. They snap the picture, and then Mom comes out in this flowing dress. And I'm dressed decently. I got a black button up on, some black slacks, and I got on some black Gamma Jordans, so they look like dress shoes, right? So to me, I'm underdressed. And so I'm standing there with this cheese eating smile on my face, like trying to take a good picture because I wasn't ready for this. I was not expecting to walk into the Met Gala going to my mother's birthday party. But I walk in there, there's gold and silver and purple balloons all over the place. And there's a huge backdrop. And they say, everybody stand up front real quick. So Mom comes over, she sashays next to me, and we taking pictures. And I'm like, this is what type of red carpet event? This was a birthday party. Big 3-4 layer cake. You know what I'm saying?
Joy knows. Joy's an event designer too. What would if somebody came to an event and you're an event designer and your event is lackluster, nobody will hire you. You know what I'm saying? So you got to do it up. You have to do it up.
And that's what I love about our people. We always do it up.
We got to do it up.
Something
your grandmother used to say, if you remember what your grandmother used to say, you only live once on this side.
That's what she always said.
Yeah,
McKinnon said, I am not. McKinnon is my first name because my father shared a brain cell with a snail.
Oh my God.
That's his first name. McKinnon is his first name.
Okay.
My third wife is a snail. Y'all get out of here.
So McKinnon, Sons of Mice, some of the other people that they're my resident trolls, and also some of my mods. So if anybody comes in here and be disrespectful, they gonna shoot them off the building. You know what I'm saying? They gonna take their places and snipe them down. You know. Joy, have you ran into any conundrums when it comes to event planning? Like, let's just say,
I
nasty
will say that
bridezillas.
I will say I don't necessarily do the event planning. I'm the one providing all the entertainment and kind of the flow of service. I would be more so programming,
like a promoter,
or production, event production, but not necessarily like the planners. I
the
don't
design.
and the design. I don't deal with any of that. But I'm more so the entertainment. But I think for me, it's just the micro racial aggressions, I guess. Like, and I love that my crew loves me. They follow me, and they stand 10 toes deep. Like, I don't know why you're talking to me. She's the boss. So they always go to one of the lead singers in the band, Dave, who's just this white guy, and everyone assumes that he's going to have all the answers to all the questions. Or, oh, do I give the check to you? And he's like, I don't know why you're talking to me. It's just the constant, like, assuming that the Black woman is not the boss is, for me, one of my kind of irks, because I work in very high-end private events with, certain kind of clients. It's not uncommon that I show up and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, this is a private event. Yes, I know we're the ones providing all of the entertainment for the event, or I'm performing, or like corrects the production team, your lighting, this is all my crew. So the boss is just showing up to work. If you can please show me where, like just kind of like those things for me have been, I would say difficult, but just very annoying that, the questioning of an event that you are hand selected by a client to be there for or attend has been a little annoying.
So if you ladies would tell me, what are some things that you would tell first? We got 2 rounds of these. So I'm gonna do the first question first, and then I'm gonna give you both of these. The first question is, what would you tell the next generation of women about womanhood and how to navigate it? And secondly, what would you say to the men who are being men today on how to positively impact, but also to keep you safe? And in your case, Joy, how would someone approach you without getting, smacked around or getting told anything like this?
You're not invited, but I'm gonna celebrate my ass off. But I better not see your ass there. You don't want to be around me while I got alcohol in me.
That'll ruin your night.
That'll ruin my night. If I look up, I see your ugly ass face.
I mean, I don't know. I would say, like, with women, I'd say be unapologetically yourself. Continue to learn about yourself. I didn't realize, like, for me, I was very awkward with boys growing up. But I learned how, like, I felt that I was able to capture the male's attention, the gaze, when I was secure in myself, when I wasn't afraid to be goofy, when I wasn't afraid to be musical. Because I think a lot of times girls, we just taught to be like the quiet, pretty, gorgeous princess. And like, that's just never been my vibe, like very princessy, very like, I'm feminine, but I don't think that I'm like, not Claire Huxtable feminine. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a grace that she has I wish that I could emulate, but that's just not who I am. But I've realized that who I am is still attractive in my eyes. As far as the men, I don't know why to go, girl. But and protecting, I think my crew and staff and musicians that I work with do a great job. Like, most of the time, protecting us is really verbal. I don't think men often have to come to fists. A lot of it's like, hey, can you not talk to her that way? Or, hey, actually, she's the boss. I cannot answer any of these questions, but if you talk to this young lady over here, like, sometimes it's just like being like, because people do listen to men first. There is a command from a man's voice. You know what I mean? So the best way to protect us is to just take that command. Hey, I'm sorry, sis, do you need something? Oh, hey, I think y'all didn't see her back here. You think y'all can come back? Like, it's those little things that I feel.
So there are a lot. There are a lot of disrespectful men. You know what I mean? And I've seen this, but that's why when they do, they get this from me. Walking straight down on them.
Any man not afraid to disrespect a woman is afraid to hit a man, and
that's really true. I think for women.
Wait, real quick, Mom. Can you say that one more time, Joey? That's a soundbite.
A man that's not afraid to disrespect or hit a woman is afraid to hit a man.
You got it. You got it.
Yeah, Mama. It's true.
You guys, that's why we train though. We train to make sure that if they hitting women and we see it,
it's an easy.
Yeah.
Easy
And you
KO.
know that's it's funny that you should say that right now, because I was just thinking about something. That's one of the reasons why sometimes women don't feel safe, is because uh, just with where we're at in society right now. You know, it used to be if somebody had a disagreement, they would duke it out. They don't do that no more. People shoot you. You know, there's no such thing as I can't fight, so I'm not going to fight because I can't fight. I'm just going to pick up a gun and shoot you. That's the mindset that a lot of people are in. So I'll give you a perfect example. Bless you. I'll give you a perfect example. I was at Walmart, I want to say maybe a year ago, 2 years ago in the summer. And I was doing what I do so many times. One of the things that I do is I like to provide meals to homeless people. And I go sometimes in neighborhoods that are not desirable. And a lot of people won't go there. But this was our friendly neighborhood Walmart, right? And there was a man that was sitting outside the Walmart. And I don't know if he had been a military victim or what it was, but his mind was not right. And a lot of people had come by there and they were giving him lots of things, you know, to eat and stuff that they had bought in Walmart. He was just collecting stuff. So I had went and got him some stuff and I gave him that stuff. And in doing so, he got very offended because he wanted to talk to me about God. I guess there was something
to you.
Yeah, he wanted to talk to me about God, but he was very disrespectful. And I said, well, you're not going to disrespect God. You're not going to blame God because you're in this situation that you're in. God is showing you how much he loves you with all these people that are coming through here and they're helping you. Well, fast speed ahead, this man got very combative and he walked up on me like he wanted to punch me. Now, where I had an issue was there were all these black men that came out of Walmart that saw this white man doing this to me, and not one stepped up to say, hey, leave the sister alone, or sister, can I protect you? I felt like it was just me and the man. Like I was going to really have to duke him myself, you know, because.
Are you kidding me?
Come to my rescue. So I think a lot of times for us as women is that we don't feel protected. So if somebody comes off and they, you know, we see the things that happen now. So if they say, you know, if I give him the wrong answer, he may hit me. So maybe I just better act tough. And if I act tough, then he'll leave me alone. If I show that I'm wimpy, which I can be, Cortez knows I'm very unconfrontational. You know, I'm very wimpy when it comes to stuff like that. But maybe if I just act tougher, you know, they won't try that. They'll leave me alone. So I think that maybe that's one of the reasons why women don't feel safe, is because they've never had people to step up and protect them. You know, how many times do we hear about our young girls that have been raped by a trusted member of the family or the mother or father's closest friends that they brought to the house, and they didn't shield and protect their kids from that?
About that. So just like when I took you to Vegas and you were walking around Vegas with me, I let everybody know. You might be walking around, you might be wearing whatever you want to wear, but I'm here. And
I don't show it all the time, but deep down inside, like, I slap shit out of all y'all.
Let them know. Got to let them know in the gate.
Let them know.
At the gate. Like,
you have to let them know.
I understand, you know, soft era stuff and all that, you know, but I'm a big proponent of, you know, being ready and having all of your tools at disposal when it is time to take care of the women in your life, because I do believe that we were placed here to take care of y'all, to nurture y'all, and that's what helps us get the next generation out. We can't get the next generation out without women.
And with that saying, you know, there's a scripture in the Bible that says that the older women are supposed to teach the younger women. And I think one of the reasons why our younger women in many areas have failed is because the older women failed at teaching them by setting the wrong examples, you know, telling them you only go after men with money, instead of saying, girl, go to school, get your own. You know, and there are some women that teach that, but there are a lot of them that don't. You know, it's kind of like a scale that's very unbalanced. But I think that's a huge issue, and that's a huge issue with men into thinking that everybody, especially down here, they think that everybody's like that and that's all that girls want. And if they feel that that's all you want, well, then I'm going to get this from you because I'm going to give you what you want, but then you're going to give me what I want too, you know?
Right.
So it's miscommunication. You know, I think if we have better communication with each other, even like you meet the person that you meet, it's good to set your boundaries and talk about the things that you don't like, the things that you do like, and you'll have less problems, I think, if a person just knows what's expected.
I hate to, and I love white people. There's some people that's white and some people that just happen to be white, and those are the people that I do like. I like white folk, but I feel like all this still comes back to, I think all of this is agenda and by design. I think it all comes from our music, and I just think that because our kids, the only examples of Black success they see right now are strippers,
rappers,
are the gold diggers, are rappers, are that's the only, or you go into sports, and that is a very tunneling, low frequency, and also a complete disservice to our community, because you're saying that Black people ain't talented enough to do anything the F else, and I feel that it's all just kind of rolling over into dating. Like, Drake is cool. I like his music, but Drake single-handedly made stripping cool. I don't care what nobody tell me. Houston, Atlanta, Vegas. Drake.
They be trying to tell you too.
Uppity women now. They want the right to choose. We'll split people on.
But also,
I agree, Joy. I think that they have a responsibility for what they put out there, and people roll with what they see, and they think it's cool. That's how we get like. I can't tell y'all how happy I'm so happy that they stopped saying on fleek. Man, that used to like somebody, I think it was Nicki Minaj said it. And then when she said it, everybody was, oh, that's what we say now, on fleek. I got so tired.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button. You heard what she said.
Okay.
You heard what she said.
On fleek. I got tired of hearing that. But once somebody like that put something out there, everybody jumps on the bandwagon and does it,
Well, when they see money is attached to it, when they see how they're living now, because at the end of the day, everybody just wants financial freedom. That's all it is. And y'all know Black people have been given the shitty side of the stick. Like, we're seeing this happen in New York. We're seeing it happen in Houston, where actual red line areas that were historically red line are the areas being gentrified today. They kicking people out of areas that you tell Black people they could only stay in. And now today, now we're getting townhomes, high rises, all that stuff. So so much is built. There's an engine built around keeping Black people operating at a low frequency, knowing nothing about how the dollar moves in this country. And now,
and see, the thing about it is, again, is back to us teaching, because it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. My grandparents didn't have any formal education beyond grammar school, and my grandfather couldn't even read. Okay. My grandfather was able to put hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank without an education, couldn't even read. All he knew to do was, my grandmother bring a contract. They've got into real estate and owning property. She bring a contract and just say, she taught him how to sign his name. And that's what he would do. He would sign his name. But without that, they were able to generate all that kind of money. And you got people coming out of college now with 6-figure incomes that don't even have $5,000 in the bank. Okay. So it was something that was instilled and taught back then to say, don't live above your means. And what my mother used to say, stop flow showing.
Indeed.
I probably don't know you don't know what flow showing is, do you, Joy? Do you know what flow showing is?
What that mean?
Flow showing would be the equivalent now of flossing or stunting, or, making things look like like down here, a lot of people lease homes and they lease cars and they, it's not really theirs. They don't own it. But they didn't care about stuff like that. They just went and banked their money. They lived good. My grandmother dressed good. They drove good, and they vacationed very, very good. But they were not wasteful.
Brings up a good point. He said houses in college have risen 4 times the rate of inflation. It's expensive.
Yes, that's great. Desperation is through the roof, and that's why all of this times out perfectly that Black people, we don't have a lot of idols to look up to other ways of becoming successful outside of,
Right.
vulgar music and sports and so forth.
I want to put something on your mind in saying that. My grandfather, not the one who couldn't read, that was my mother's father, but my daddy's father. Okay, so Cortez, I'm gonna put this into perspective for y'all generation. Okay, they lived in a time where there was oppression by the white people that's much greater than anything that any of us have ever faced right now.
They bombed their city.
And they lived in southern states where the KKK and oppression was even greater than anything we've ever faced. My grandfather, my dad's father, was able to leave his 6 children 36 acres of land owned free and clear. That was our heritage that they left, a big farm down in Inola, Oklahoma. But people here sometimes can't even buy a house, can't even, and struggle to even rent an apartment. So what was it? What was it that they could dig down deep when we got the butt of the stick worse back then than we do now? We didn't have to find
episode about this, Mom, and it was. I remember years ago, many years ago. Obviously, he's been gone now from us for 16 years. But years ago, I had a conversation with him, and I asked him a question about the Tulsa, Oklahoma City bombing, right?
Yeah.
And he told me about the bombing in Tulsa and
Wall
how
Street?
Black
Wall Street.
He told me about it. And the first time he told me about it, I didn't believe that it had happened because nobody talks about it.
It's not taught in school.
And he's telling me about how everybody was acting, how they were all afraid, and how they went back to the farm and they got all their stuff together in case people were gonna come trying to take their land from them. And like this went on, it wasn't just a one-day thing. They were on notice for the next couple of years, thinking this could happen again to them. So it's on his end, it was sheer determination. All the stories that he told me about his life and everything he told me about our family, it was determination to get where he wanted to go. That's why in my life, nobody's ever been able to tell me what I cannot do.
Right.
My little cousin, when we were on the farm, because my dad and her father, they were first cousins, but they were more like brothers because my grandparents passed away. And when my grandparents passed away, her grandparents raised my dad and his sisters and brothers. So they were first cousins, but they were like brothers and sisters. So she was like my first cousin. And so we're down there and I'm over there at their house in the farm, in the country. She said she would say stuff like, turn to the left, now turn to the right, now look behind you, now look in front of you. And she said, as far as you can see, in any direction, we own all of this.
Yes, we did.
My father's brother, first cousin, was the second richest man in Wagner County. And they had all of that, not having all the opportunities that we have, not have gone to, some of them didn't even finish high school, let alone even thought about going to college. But they had a lot more at a time when Black people were put through the ringer a lot more. We have a lot of opportunities now, even though we complain about what we have. They had it a lot worse, but they were able to do more. And they had more to leave as an inheritance.
They don't have the government stealing all their income. Because if you look at the time that they were alive, with the numbers, and this is just strictly from the numbers, the inflation went with wages. Now inflation continues to rise, but wages have stayed where they were. And that creates a disparity. There's also the housing thing. As you are well aware of, since you were alive, credit scores didn't exist before 1989.
Right.
And with the introduction of the credit score, it pretty much said, okay, well, now that we have credit scores, we can make it to where people can't get things.
That's very true. They did that. That was strategic.
All of this is white supremacy.
It is. And that's why I have no problem.
But that's why we don't subscribe.
Like me.
Or we shouldn't. That's why we shouldn't subscribe. We shouldn't subscribe to this world system, and I don't.
Well, the thing is,
go ahead.
Keep moving the goalposts, though. I feel that everything that's happened with inflation, with colleges going, inflation. Okay, credit score. You know why credit score happened? Am I allowed to curse on here?
You can say whatever you want. It's sports unscripted, culture unfiltered.
Our credit score is here because niggas started buying stuff. Because y'all redlined us, we were still buying stuff and we were still creating wealth. Y'all bombed us, we were still buying things, we were still building wealth. Even today, with college being 4 times more expensive, college shockingly went up because Black people were getting educated, specifically Black women. When
Black women are the most educated group in the country.
Available. All of this correlates to Black people playing by the rules and finally starting to benefit from learning how to play the rules, and they keep moving the goalposts. So it's unfortunate, but like, you know, my mom's era, my grandmother's era, you know, not saying it was easier to build wealth and things like that, but today it's like, if you're not born with the silver spoon, it's real hard for you out there. And I'm blessed to come from, you know, from a Black excellence family as well. My grandmother was the first African-American and first female politician in Kenner, Louisiana. My grandmother, thanks to her, Kenner, Louisiana was the first city to celebrate Martin Luther King's birthday and making it a national holiday in Louisiana. And my family, we are farmers as well, that I've heard. I don't think we have a lot of our land today. Where Kenner is right outside of New Orleans, so it's like a city, but it was a Black city. And now there's kind of like the white folks, they have the lakeside area, but that was a Black town first. And also there's a whole theater district that my grandmother made sure was built on the Black side to make sure that our Black kids could study the arts. There was a museum built there, a park built there, and all of that was because my grandmother made sure that we got it because we founded Kenner. But my grandmother was the same way too. She owned businesses, she saved up money, and the beauty about our grandparents is that all of that was in cash because they wasn't getting
no credit score.
All of it all of it was cash.
So,
and when they went to buy something, they were not. So I remember a story that I like to share with my grandmother, my mother's mother. My grandmother was such a woman of God that, you know, she would go to, like, say her and my grandfather went to the car dealership to go get, and they only drove Cadillac. And like back in the day, people didn't care about the foreign cars. They didn't care about Mercedes, Rolls Royce, none of that in this country. Cadillac. It was let's promote American made stuff. So it was Cadillac was top notch. And that's all they drove was Cadillac. So we would go into the dealership. And the dealers would say, you want to go test drive? And she said, yeah. So her and my grandfather, they go test drive the car. I'm sitting in the back. They talking about the leather. They talking about the car. And they come back. And then he would say, okay, let's go on in the office. Let's talk about, you know, getting the loan and stuff and doing this. And my grandmother would say, well, first thing is I have to go home and pray about this. We don't just make decisions like this without consulting with him first. Amen. And then a lot of times in her prayer time, the Holy Spirit would tell her, that's not the dealership to get it from. You're going to get a better deal over here. She'd go to a different one and get it over there. And then you know what? Half the time, they wouldn't even know how to do the transaction because she would surprise them when they say, okay, we're going to go in here, work the numbers, see how much you need to put down, what your payment's going to be. She said payments. We don't make payments. We're paying cash. That's what she would do. That's the time when they would take the money out of the bank and pay cash, but they were not frivolous spenders. My grandfather still worked the 9 to 5 and they lived off the 9 to 5. The stuff that they made from the real estate, that all went in the bank. And that's where their money would come from to be able to finance the other things that they wanted to do. It's so practical. The strategies that the Lord used to give my grandmothers, they teach classes about how to do this stuff now. They paid their building off in 7 years. You know, when they weren't taking no 30-year, 40-year, 50-year mortgages like people do now. They sold the people, and I'm in the mortgage industry, have been since 2000. So I'll tell you, they extended the financing periods so that they could sell you more houses. You could get a 50-year mortgage in some cases to do that. And my grandmother was like, 30 years, that's unheard of. Who would stay in a mortgage for 30 years? She's like, we paid this off in 7 years. And she had no formal teaching from any of the gurus that tell you how to pay your house off in 7 years. That was information that the Holy Spirit downloaded into her and showed her how to strategically be a businesswoman that was principled and to be, you know, somebody. She was very soft-spoken, You know, she was very soft spoken. When she went to the bank or she went to the store, you knew who she was because of the way she dressed real nice. She drove real nice, but she was not one of them kind of people. Oh, I'm here. You know, look at me. She was very low key.
So I have a so I know we're a little bit short on time now. And I have a question for both of you, and also a statement if you would like to make a statement, not necessarily a question, but if you were to tell the next generation one thing, what would you tell them?
Get your focus back. Focus back on the right things that made us who we were. That part of us never becomes outdated. You can draw strength and get wisdom and knowledge. The wheel doesn't have to be reinvented. If it worked for certain things, it'll still work, but you got to work it. You know, the practical stuff like not living above your means, you know, and not financing to the hilt, running up your credit and all that, doing the stuff. Start doing the kind of things like what we grew up as kids. They had a store called Kmart in Chicago, and they had a program called layaway, meaning that if you could not afford to pay cash to walk through this line and buy the stuff that you needed to buy for the day, put it on layaway. Keep making payments on it and cash payments. And by the time you pay the last payment, it's yours and it's paid off. You don't have financing to follow you into years where you paid for something 3 times over. So I would say get back to being focused on what's important and partner to work together with each other, especially balancing out the sexes between the men and the women. We got to work together as a team.
Nice. What you got for us, Joy?
I would say learn your history. I feel like our elders, like my grandmother passed away about 2 years ago, and something about Black people born in the 60s and prior, I feel our community losing a certain spiritual connection that we used to have. And I feel that we are losing our elders and our youth don't know our history. So I think the future generation, I mean, all Americans too, I don't know if this is, I've been pretty pro-Black with everything, this particular podcast, but I love everybody. But for my community especially, I think like we need to know our history more than ever. And we need to stay spiritually connected because that really, to me, is the magic sauce of who we are as a people. And I feel it leaving. I do.
Yeah.
As we kind of become a little bit more Americanized, you know. And while I'm happy to be, you know, cultured and well-traveled, I do feel this sense of like, dang, like the smell of church, you know, the smell of the altar at like, you know, Mississippi Baptist Choir, that era, like I miss that era and what that era meant to us. I'm not hating on praise and worship. It's cool, but it's just very concerty. I miss that just.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
She missed the gospel music.
Yeah.
So,
the gospel music.
but I'm going to give you guys another opportunity before we get out of here, but we got to do some housekeeping. First up, we got some affiliates here. We got, the Ben podcast. You guys can catch me over there sometimes, especially if we're talking about politics. You guys can go ahead and give them a follow. That is the Ben. Oh, there we go. I'm right there. We also have, you guys can take screenshots if you don't know it. You see Mikey. We have our video once more. For those of you who are just now joining us, our video from what we did in Chicago at our show. We're going to play that one time.
Why you ain't say nothing? I'm only gonna do this once. You always knew I'd make it in the beginning. Why you ain't say nothing? You believed in me the whole time, for real? Yeah. I couldn't tell. You was around me from the beginning. Why you ain't say nothing? Why you ain't say nothing? Seen them hard times, couldn't kill me. Why you ain't say nothing? Why you ain't say nothing? Stages I'm on getting bigger. Now you wanna say something. But watching my story, y'all winning. Why you ain't say nothing? Why you ain't say nothing? Why you ain't say nothing? Why you ain't call? Why you ain't say nothing? Why you ain't say nothing? Why you ain't? You was around me from the beginning. Why you ain't say nothing? Why you ain't? Stages I'm on getting bigger. Now you wanna say something? Put that on my soul.
So that is a video from the Singles and Soulmates show that we did in Chicago, and the members of that show, with the addition of so friends of the show, which were Black Mona Lisa and Correct Me If I'm Wrong podcast. But we also have a list here. Down below, I have posted, well, Conversations with Soft Rain, the lovely Conversations with Soft Rain, has posted the link to the YouTube channel for the Raw Society Coalition. That is where all 5 of these creators join together, like Voltron, as some people may hate me saying, but they've joined together like Voltron to create the Raw Society Coalition. That is the classic codes. He has been in here. Souls of Thought, Uncle Plug TV was the first person here today. Conversation with Soft Rain, who is steadily posting as we're going, and myself, the TezDown. Take a screenshot of that real quick. The Discord is also in the chat. You guys, we are moving a lot of the stuff that we're doing towards Discord. You will have releases that are going to be on there that you won't see anywhere else at any time. Make sure that you join the Discord and do that. We do have a merch sale that is going on right now. It is 10% off. Rock with the Raw Society Coalition. You can find merch on this website from each of these channels individually. So if you want to just support the TezDown or just the Classic Codes, you can go on there and get some merch. You can also go to Classics page and get some merch on the Classic Codes page. You know, I don't have a merch page up. That is what we're rocking with right now is the Raw Society Coalition. McKinnon had an interesting statement. He said, when you get saddled with payments, your priority shifts from go to college to don't lose this job so I can keep my car. And that's exactly what it is. You don't get to get that same type of education because you have bills to pay.
Right.
So I would love to have both of y'all back at another time, either together or separate. And I'm sure the wonderful Conversation with Soft Rain, who is running a women's panel and a women's as well. Classic has the Queen's Codes, which will be up again next month, I believe, or maybe later on this month. He hasn't made his mind up yet. And I do have you guys' contact information. And I'm sure that y'all wouldn't mind appearing on one of these wonderful shows because as we have seen today, y'all are very knowledgeable and we could use listening to you a little bit more.
Well, thank you.
So
We appreciate that.
I like people who come with real answers. I'll let you go first. Dr. Mom. Dr. Mom, where can they find you at if they need to find you for business purposes?
I am on all forms of social media. The main one, though, is LinkedIn. I say to everybody, you need to be on LinkedIn more than you need to be on all these other social medias. That's where the real deal is going on. And we can get into some other things about financial stuff and things like that. So Dr. Tamirah Leigh Terry, spelled Tamirah Leigh. See at the bottom right there, Terry. That's how you can reach me.
And the lovely and wonderfully talented Sugar Joiko, Joy Keeling. Where can they find you at?
Like with Mom, I'm so bad with LinkedIn, and if you know more about it, I'd love to learn more. But I know that I need to be on it, especially with entertainment. But it's just another new market that I don't understand the algorithm of it yet. But I know that it's on my to-do list. So I follow you now, so let's definitely connect. Y'all, I'm Sugar Joiko. You can find me on all streaming platforms. My music is on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, and so forth. As my name, Sugar Joiko. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, all the things. So don't be a stranger. Thanks for having me so much.
We have a super chat, and the super chat from Anonymous says, Tez, play Joy's song one more time. Okay.
Y'all see where he did it from, right?
That was wonderful. That was wonderful. I am Tez. This is the TezDown. I am 24. I will see you guys in another 24. Thank you, lovelies, for coming to hang out and see me today. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are great. Welcome to TezDown. Welcome. Mic check 1 2. Welcome. Welcome to the TezDown. Party time.